Good morning, and thank you for joining me back on my couch while I read. I thought this morning we would review our I love you rituals that we've done so far, learn a new one, and read a story. So, if you remember, I love you rituals are partner songs. Now, I don't have a partner, so I'm going to be doing them by myself. But when you're doing them, you should be using a partner. Of course, you can sing on your own, but they're super fun if you do them with a partner. So the first one was you take your partner's hand in your hand, and then you use your other hand and you draw a circle and you say, all around the garden goes the teddy bear. One step, two step, tickle under there and tickle your partner. You could do this on their shoulder, on their back, wherever you think. The other I love you ritual, another I love you ritual we did was bread and butter. Ready? Bread and butter, strawberry jam. Say I love you as low as you can. I love you. And remember, you're clapping with your partner, or you can do it with more people because I love you rituals allow many people to join in. You just might need to get creative in how you do it. So for bread and butter, you could clap to the side, make a circle with the people who are participating, and clap to the side so everyone's included. And then we did three nice mice. Are you ready? Three nice mice, three nice mice. See how they care, see how they care. They all hold hands and give a shake. Smiling together, good friends they make. Turn around for goodness sake. Three nice mice. And then last week, we learned Wonderful Woman. And remember again, one person has their hand out and the other person is the one massaging. Ready? A wonderful woman lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she knew exactly what to do. She held them, she rocked them and tucked them into bed. I love you, is what she said. So this week's I love you ritual is new to me. I actually saw it on the Conscious Discipline website last night. So it goes like this, and I'm going to need to look down to remember some words. It's not very long, but it's new to me. So it goes. Here is the bunny with his ears so funny. Here's the hole in the ground. When a noise he hears, he perks up his ears and jumps in the hole in the ground. Ready? Here's the bunny with her ears so funny. Here's a hole in the ground. When a noise she hears, she picks up her ears and jumps in the hole in the ground. And so the way this one works with a partner is one person's the bunny and the other person is the hole. And the bunny then goes into the hole and gets some squeezes when they're in the hole. So I'll post the lyrics to that song on our app, but I'll sing it for you one more time. Ready? Here's the bunny with her ears so funny. Here's the hole in the ground. When a noise she hears, she picks up her ears and jumps in the hole in the ground. Okay? So those are some songs for you to continue to practice and sing with your family and friends that you can see at this time. So I hope that many of you have seen the pictures that I've been posting of the transformation or the metamorphosis that the caterpillars have been going through. I'm so sorry you can't see it with your own eyes, but look, this is day 6. Can you see? All of them are in their chrysalises now. You see? Isn't that neat? So caterpillars make chrysalises. Theirs is made more from an excretion, something that comes out of their skin. Moths, and some spiders too, they make cocoons. And cocoons are typically made from a spinning of some type of silk. And there are differences between moths and butterflies. Moths tend to, but not always, fly at night, and they love to fly around lights. And butterflies tend to, most of the time, but not always, but most of the time, fly around during the day. Now, moths' wings are not always as colorful as butterflies, and butterflies usually have colorful wings. Now, always in nature there are exceptions, but for the most part, moths make cocoons and their wings are less bright and colorful. Butterflies make chrysalises and their wings are more colorful. Moths are awake mostly at night and butterflies are awake during the day. Another thing that's different between the moth and the butterfly is that the moth's body tends to be a little bit fatter, a little chunkier compared to the butterfly's body. So this is one of my favorite books. It is a little bit long, but I really think you'll like it. So there's something special about monarch butterflies. They migrate very, very far, a lot of times from Canada all the way down to Mexico, which is a very, very long trip. This would take many days by car, if not a week by car. But other butterflies migrate as well, but the most famous migration, at least that I know of, is the monarch butterfly migration from north of the United States and into Canada down to Mexico. Now, unfortunately, the butterflies that we have are called painted ladies. They're beautiful butterflies too, but they're not monarch butterflies. They will look very similar when they emerge, but they are called painted ladies. My story today is about Oscar, the almost butterfly, by Peter Elwell. Oscar, the almost butterfly, by Peter Elwell. And he is the author, and I'm going to assume the illustrator because there isn't an illustrator listed. And authors write words to stories, and illustrators draw the pictures. There was a house. In the window of this house, there was a flower in a pot. On a leaf of this flower, there was a little caterpillar. And you asked this caterpillar his name, he would say, "My name is Oscar." That's just what he said when a butterfly blew in from the sky and landed on the flower next to him and asked him his name. "Pleased to meet you, Oscar," said the butterfly. "My name is Bob. I just flew in from Detroit, and boy, are my wings tired. But seriously, do you know the way to Mexico?" See? He's a monarch butterfly. Now, when our caterpillars emerge from their chrysalises, they will have this similar coloring but different patterning because they're called painted lady butterflies. Don't worry, I'll show you. "Nope, but I sure like those wings," said Oscar. "Thanks," said Bob. "One day you'll have a pair of your own." "Really?" Oscar gasped. "Count on it," said Bob. Then, fluttering off on the passing breeze, he shouted, "If you're ever down in Mexico, look me up." Oscar crawled as fast as he could to tell his caterpillar friends all about the wings he was going to grow and how he was going to fly far away, just like Bob the butterfly. "No one listens to butterflies," Squirmy sneered. "They just make stuff up. Besides, anyone with big crazy wings has to be nuts," scoffed Wiggly. "And anyone who believes them is nuttier," Nimbles laughed. "Look at us," sang the three caterpillars. "We're Oscar, the amazing flying nut." "You're starting to bug me," Oscar growled. "That's because we're bugs," they laughed. "Ha, that's what we do." Not being very kind, are they? Then they saw a ladybug, and off they went to prove their point, bugging her about the spots on her back. "Don't listen to them, they're knuckleheads," whispered a little voice. It was Edna, the bookworm, peeping shyly from behind Oscar's favorite flower pot. "But they might be right," said Oscar. "And they might be wrong," Edna suggested. "Want to find out?" Looking first this way and then that way, she silently motioned to Oscar to follow her. They crawled off the windowsill, and then up a bookcase until they came to an old book made of shiny brown leather and decorated with gold. "Can't judge a book by its cover," Edna said, opening a small door at the bottom of the book. Look at the little secret door. Now, if you remember, Edna's a worm. In the door, it was a door to a library. As far as Oscar could see, there was nothing but bugs, books, and bookworms reading them. "Wow!" yelled Oscar. "Shh!" the bookworms replied. "Don't worry," Edna said. "They love to do that." See? Oscar and Edna found all kinds of books that said that caterpillars do grow wings and turn into butterflies, and that the butterflies who look like Bob do fly all the way to Mexico. None of these books said Bob was nuts. They said he was right. Oscar also studied maps. Mexico was thousands of miles away, which is quite far for someone whose whole world has been a flower pot. It was a little scary, but the more Oscar found out about all of the different places he'd see and the different bugs he'd meet, the more he wanted to go there. Oscar also found out that they speak Spanish in Mexico, so he figured he'd like to do that too. He learned to say hello, hola. He learned to say goodbye, adios. He learned to introduce himself so everyone would know who was saying hello and goodbye. Hola, mi nombre es Oscar. "But will they know me when I'm a butterfly?" Oscar asked. "Sure," Edna replied. "No matter what you are, you'll always be Oscar." Too soon the time came for Oscar to take long caterpillar naps they'd heard about and read about. He'd sleep, and when he woke up, he'd have wings. "Before you go, let's learn one more thing," said Edna, and they learned how to say goodnight. Buenas noches. Oscar went to sleep and dreamed of distant blue mountains and of all of the new friends he'd meet as he rode the wind out of Cleveland and all the way to Mexico. He slept and he slept and he slept some more. Cleveland is actually not that far from here. Cleveland's in Ohio. It's to the east of us on a map, so to the right of us on a map. But not that far, not compared to Mexico. Then one day, Oscar woke up. He yawned and wiggled out of his cocoon. Ooh, do you hear? Cocoon. What did I tell you about butterflies? And you'll see. He felt something else wiggle on his back. Wings! He had wings! But something wasn't right. He also had an appetite. A big one. Why was he craving socks? "Hey, Oscar!" Nibble shouted from inside the closet. "Taste this designer sweater. It's yummy!" "Look at us!" yelled Wiggly. "We're flying around light bulbs for no reason." "Whee!" cried Squirmy. Did you notice what Oscar turned into? A butterfly or a moth? His little house was a cocoon. Fighting the urge to head to a light bulb, Oscar flew to a mirror. "Oh no!" he cried. "Someone made a mistake. I'm not a butterfly. I'm a moth." Now Oscar would never ride the wind. He would never see Mexico. For the rest of his life, he'd fly around a light bulb or sit in a drawer eating old socks. Oscar tried to make the best of it. Even with nowhere to go, flying sure beat crawling. And socks actually taste pretty good. But when Oscar said, "More socks, please," in Spanish, "Más medias, por favor," it made him sad. It just reminded him of the blue mountains he'd never see. He might have forgotten all about Mexico, but one bright night, Oscar happened to land on his favorite flower in the window. He hadn't come back to this spot since he had become a moth, and looking around him, a tiny piece of paper caught his eye. There was writing on it. This is what it said. Dear Oscar, amazing things can happen when a moth thinks like a butterfly. Write me from Mexico. Love, Edna. Oscar felt the moon beckon to him, like a big light bulb in the sky. Yes, he was a moth. And what a moth. Adios, amigos, said Oscar. I've got a postcard to write. And off he soared, up, up, up to the moon, into the great night sky. Where are you going? Squirmy called after him. You won't get far, shouted Wiggly. What's amigos? Nibbles asked. Can you eat it? Can you eat amigos? Probably not. The other moths figured he'd be back as long as there was a porch light to fly around. After all, they said, he's a moth. That's what we do. But that's not what Oscar did. Even with the porch light on, he never came back. However, there are blue mountains in Mexico. High in these mountains, there are green fields that are alive with countless butterflies. In the middle of the field, there's a flower. Sitting on this flower, you'll find a moth who's writing a postcard to a friend. If you ask this moth his name, he'll most likely say, Mi nombre es Oscar. Dear Edna, I thought like a butterfly. Love, Oscar. P.S. Bob says hi. The postcard says, greetings from Mexico. He did it. Even though he was different and he wasn't a monarch butterfly and things didn't turn out exactly the way he wanted to, he still pursued his dream. And then at the back, there's some facts here I thought I would read to you since we're here together. It says, Edna's Guide for the Educated Bug. Think like a butterfly and talk like one too. Hola, hello. Adios, goodbye. Mi nombre es Oscar. My name is Oscar. Buenas noches. Good night. More, más medias, por favor. More socks, please. Soy una mariposa. Am I a butterfly? Now, I don't know if all butterflies go to Mexico where they would speak Spanish, but in this case, Oscar wanted to. And then it says, are you a butterfly? Do you like to fly around at night? If you do, the chances are you are not a butterfly. You're probably a moth. Most butterflies fly during the day, but not all, so check your wings. Do you have large, colorful wings? Moths' wings aren't usually as colorful or as big, but sometimes they are, so you still might be a moth. Butterflies think beautiful wings are wasted in the dark. Moths don't care. Moths also tend to look a little fatter than butterflies. Moths don't care about that either. If you have a beautiful black and orange wings and you know how to fly to Mexico from wherever you are without even a map, then you're definitely a butterfly. And not just any butterfly, you're a monarch butterfly. And did you know? Other butterflies and moths migrate from one place to another, but only the monarch butterfly covers the huge distances from all over North America to arrive in Mexico, always around Halloween. In Mexico, Halloween is called the Day of the Dead. Monarch butterflies call it the Great Big Special Butterfly Day. Think it's a much more cheerful name. Then again, they think every day is the Great Big Butterfly Day. If you don't, you're probably a moth. Grown-up moths don't actually eat socks and sweaters. They stop doing that when they get their wings. It's the babies, or the larvae, as moths say, when they are trying to show off, who eat clothing. The larvae of the tiny moths are usually the culprits. So there you go. Oscar, the almost butterfly. Do you see why he's almost a butterfly? So what I think would be really cool is if you looked up the monarch migration, because I've actually done it before, and wow, you will be amazed to the number of monarch butterflies that make their way to Mexico. It's simply amazing. So I highly recommend you look it up. So, anyway, it's time to say goodbye. Ready? I wish you well. I wish you well. All through the day today. I wish you well. Take care, friends.